What if I told you that the very supplement you've been taking to strengthen your body could actually be tearing it apart? Zinc, the mineral we're told is absolutely essential for survival, might be one of the most misunderstood nutrients of our time. Without it, hundreds of vital processes in your body would simply stop. But here's the shocking twist. Too much zinc, or the wrong kind of zinc, could silently sabotage your immune system, drain other minerals, and even make you sicker in the long run. For years, people, myself included, believed that more zinc was the golden key to better health. But science is revealing a darker, more complex truth. Zinc is not a one-way ticket to strength. It's a double-edged sword. The difference between healing and harming your body might come down to just a few milligrams. Welcome to the Nutrition Institute. In this video, I'm going to expose the 4 biggest zinc mistakes almost everyone makes. Mistakes that could be the reason your supplements aren't working the way you hoped. So stay with me until the end, because once you know these truths, you'll never look at zinc the same way again. And if you value content like this, don't forget to hit subscribe and support the channel so we can keep bringing you powerful insights. I used to believe that the more zinc you take, the stronger your body becomes. I thought it was like fuel for the immune system. A simple equation, more zinc equals more protection. But I was wrong, dangerously wrong. Zinc, as I later discovered, is not just a mineral you can casually pop in a pill every day. It's a powerful, delicate key that unlocks hundreds of vital processes in your body. And if you use it recklessly, that same key can jam the lock and cause serious problems. Let's start with the most common mistake, taking too much zinc. For a while, I was convinced that high doses were the secret to boosting immunity. I remember seeing recommendations of 100 to even 200 milligrams per day, and I thought, why not? If a little helps, then a lot must be even better. It sounded logical at the time. But here's the hidden truth. Zinc doesn't work in isolation. In fact, zinc competes with another mineral in your body, copper. When you overload on zinc, you don't just strengthen one part of your system, you drain copper, which is essential for other critical processes. It's almost like trying to build a stronger wall by piling up bricks while stealing cement from the foundation. At first, it looks solid, but eventually, the whole thing cracks. What shocked me most was realizing that zinc can both help and harm your immune system. It sounds like a paradox, right? On one hand, higher doses of zinc in short bursts, for example, during an acute infection, can give your immune defenses a real boost. But if you keep those high doses going for weeks or months, the very system you were trying to strengthen can actually weaken. It's like giving your immune system a shot of adrenaline and then forcing it to run a marathon nonstop. At some point, it collapses. This was a wake-up call for me because I realized I had fallen into the trap of thinking of nutrients as magic bullets. The truth is far more complex. Zinc is not the better kind of mineral. It's about balance, precision, and timing. The simple solution? Balance your zinc intake with copper. Experts often recommend about a 10-1 ratio. That means if you're taking 30 milligrams of zinc, you should pair it with around 3 milligrams of copper. This ratio helps maintain harmony, allowing both minerals to do their jobs without canceling each other out. But let me share something even more important. Zinc's role in your body is not just about the amount you take. It's about the way it interacts with everything else. Zinc is a team player, not a lone warrior. Think about it. Your body's biochemistry is like a massive orchestra with hundreds of instruments playing together. Zinc might be the violin section, vital, beautiful, and powerful. But without the percussion, the winds, and the brass, the symphony falls apart. That's why taking zinc without its company. Factors is mistake number 2. Magnesium, vitamin B6, and folate are not just nice to haves, they're essential for zinc to actually function. I remember supplementing with zinc for months and wondering why my hair still felt weak and my energy levels didn't improve. It was frustrating. Only later did I realize I was missing the supporting cast. Magnesium activates so many enzymatic pathways that allow zinc to work. Vitamin B6 is the switch that powers neurotransmitters and hormonal balance. From mood regulation to menstrual cycles, folate, meanwhile, is critical for building DNA and preventing inflammation. Without these, zinc is like a talented athlete playing on a broken field. No matter how skilled, he can't win the game alone. I used to ignore this idea. I thought if I just kept my zinc intake high, it would override everything else. But biology doesn't work that way. You can't brute force your way into health. You need synergy. And here's where the real irony lies. Even though people overdose on zinc supplements, most don't even know if they're truly deficient in the first place. This brings me to mistake number 3, not knowing when you're actually zinc deficient. How many times have you or I popped a pill without really asking, do I even need this? I learned there are subtle but telling signs of deficiency. For example, those little white specks on your nails aren't just cosmetic quirks. They can be markers of low zinc, loss of taste or smell, frequent colds, slow wound healing, hair loss. These are all red flags. There's even a simple test called the zinc taste test. You take a small amount of liquid zinc solution, swish around your mouth, and see how it tastes. If it hits you with a strong metallic flavor, your body has enough zinc. But if it tastes like plain water, that's a sign of deficiency. I remember trying it myself, expecting a sharp taste, and being startled when it felt like nothing at all. That moment hit me harder than any blood test. It was my body's way of saying, you're running low. The best part is that food sources of zinc are far more reliable than supplements. Shellfish, oysters, red meat, and liver are some of the richest sources. When zinc comes from whole foods, it's paired naturally with other trace minerals that enhance absorption and balance. Plant sources, on the other hand, often fall short because of compounds like phytic acid that block absorption. This is one of the reasons so many children who eat cereal, heavy diets end up deficient in zinc. The grains are working against them. Looking back, I realized my biggest mistake was thinking of zinc as a simple fix. What I've learned is that zinc is a delicate balance, a nutrient that demands respect. If you take too much, you can suppress your immunity. If you take too little, you leave your body vulnerable. If you take it without company factors, you waste its potential. And if you don't even know your true zinc status, you're basically flying blind. So, here's my conclusion for part 1. Zinc is powerful, but it is not forgiving. It requires knowledge, balance, and respect. It's not about popping the biggest pill or swallowing the highest dose. It's about listening to your body, understanding the science, and using zinc as part of a bigger, balanced nutritional strategy. When I understood this, it completely changed the way I approach supplementation. Now, I don't just reach for a bottle and hope for the best. I think about balance, about synergy, and about what my body actually needs. And that shift has made all the difference. When I first began supplementing with zinc, I believed it was the missing piece in my health puzzle. I thought zinc alone was enough to fix my fatigue, boost my immunity, and sharpen my mind. But after months of taking it, nothing really changed. My energy was still inconsistent, my hair still felt thin, and I wasn't recovering from workouts the way I had hoped. That's when I stumbled on one of the biggest truths about zinc. It doesn't work alone. Zinc is a player in a much bigger team. The company, factors, magnesium, vitamin B6, and folate are not optional extras. They're like the supporting crew behind a lead actor. Without them, zinc can't even begin to perform its role properly. This was mistake number 2 that I and countless others made. Let me break it down. Magnesium is often called the master mineral because it's involved in over 300 biochemical reactions. Without enough magnesium, zinc's pathways are basically blocked. It's like having the right key, but the lock is jammed. Then there's vitamin B6. I had always dismissed B6 as just another B vitamin. Nothing special, but it turns out B6 is the activator. It makes magnesium usable, which in turn makes zinc effective. Without B6, neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine don't get produced properly. Mood swings, PMS, even carpal tunnel syndrome, all of these can be linked back to this missing connection. And folate, that's your DNA builder, your red blood cell producer, your arterial protector. Folate makes sure zinc doesn't just float around uselessly, but is actually integrated into vital processes. Looking back, it makes sense why my zinc supplements weren't working. I was feeding the star player, but starving the rest of the team. It's a mistake many people make when they isolate one nutrient and push it to extremes. Our bodies are ecosystems, not machines. You can't flood one pathway and expect everything else to fall in line. But here's another mistake that's even more subtle, not knowing when you're truly deficient. This was mistake number 3, and it's a silent one because most of us never question it. We assume more nutrients equal better health. But how often do we actually measure or check? For years, I ignored the small signs, the white flecks on my nails, the times I lost my sense of taste during a cold, or the constant slow healing after cuts. I brushed them off as normal. But those were signals from my body screaming for zinc. It wasn't until I learned about the zinc taste test that I finally woke up. It's such a simple tool. Take a teaspoon of liquid zinc, swish it around, and notice what you taste. If it's sharp and metallic, you're probably fine. If it tastes like plain water, you're deficient. When I tried it, I expected something bitter, maybe even unpleasant, but I tasted nothing. That moment hit me harder than any doctor's report. My body had been telling me all along, and I just hadn't listened. What fascinated me even more was where zinc naturally exists in our food supply. Seafood, especially oysters, is packed with it. Red meat and liver are also rich sources. But when it comes to plant foods, the story changes. Compounds like phytic acid in grains bind to zinc and prevent absorption. Suddenly, all those healthy cereals didn't look so healthy anymore. No wonder so many children who live on processed grains end up deficient. They're eating foods that actively block the very minerals they need to grow. And that brings me to mistake number 4, taking too little zinc. At first, this doesn't sound like much of a problem. Most of us assume we're eating enough from our diet. But here's the catch. Our lifestyles today are designed to deplete zinc faster than ever before. Think about it. Diarrhea, even a short episode, can strip zinc from your body along with sodium and other minerals. Alcohol consumption is another hidden thief. Every drink you have drains your reserves. Then there's the decline of stomach acid as we age. Without enough acid, minerals like zinc simply don't get absorbed. Add in pregnancy, hormonal birth control, or high estrogen levels, and the body's demand for zinc skyrockets. Even blood sugar issues like diabetes increase the need because high glucose creates a metabolic stress that burns through zinc stores. And yes, this one surprised me too. Sexual activity, especially for men, is a huge factor. Semen contains a significant amount of zinc, and frequent ejaculation can dramatically lower zinc reserves. It's not something many doctors talk about, but it's a reality that directly impacts male health and fertility. When I learned this, I realized zinc deficiency wasn't just about diet. It was about lifestyle in ways I had never considered. So how much zinc is enough? For the average adult, experts often recommend 30 to 40 milligrams a day, but that's just the baseline. Athletes, people with more muscle mass, or those under chronic stress may need more. Zinc is essential for muscle repair, wound healing, and even recovery from intense workouts. That's why zinc carnosine, in particular, has become a favorite supplement for supporting gut health and healing ulcers, including stubborn diabetic ulcers. For me, the realization was humbling. I had always thought health was about adding more of one thing: more protein, more vitamins, more supplements, but zinc taught me the opposite. Health is about balance. Too much, and you suppress your body; too little, and you leave it vulnerable. Ignore the supporting nutrients, and zinc can't do its job. Fail to notice deficiency signs, and the damage builds silently. When I finally adjusted my approach, everything started to shift. I didn't just throw more zinc into my routine. I paired it with the right company, factors, checked my deficiency signs, and respected the balance. My energy returned. My recovery improved. And for the first time, I felt like I wasn't working against my body anymore. Here's the takeaway. Zinc is not just a supplement you swallow and forget. It's a mineral that demands awareness. It asks you to listen to your body, to balance it with other nutrients, and to recognize the lifestyle factors draining it away. It's a partnership, not a shortcut. And once I understood that, my entire perspective on nutrition changed. By the time I understood the mistakes people make with zinc, too much, too little, ignoring company, factors, and not even knowing when they're deficient, I realized I had only uncovered half the story. The other half is about what to do instead, because knowledge alone doesn't transform your health. Application does. The first step is surprisingly simple. Start with food. Supplements can help, but nothing replaces the power of nutrient-rich whole foods. When I began focusing on dietary sources of zinc, I noticed an immediate difference. Oysters, for instance, aren't just a culinary luxury. They're the single richest source of zinc you can eat. Red meat, liver, and shellfish also pack significant amounts. And what's beautiful about these foods is that they don't just deliver zinc. They bring along other trace minerals and vitamins that help balance and support absorption. That's something no isolated pill can truly replicate. When you get zinc from food, your body recognizes it as part of a whole system. It's like receiving a full toolkit instead of just one shiny wrench. You have everything you need to build, repair, and maintain. Compare that with plant-based sources. While they contain zinc, compounds like phytic acid bind it up, making it far less available. I learned this the hard way after years of relying on cereals and grains as healthy staples. On paper, they seemed fine. In reality, they were blocking the very minerals my body needed. That said, there are times when food alone isn't enough. Stress, illness, heavy exercise, or modern lifestyles can raise the body's zinc demands beyond what diet alone can cover. That's where smart supplementation comes in. And by smart, I don't mean megadoses. I mean thoughtful choices. One of the most effective forms I discovered is zinc glycinate, a chelated form that binds to amino acids for better absorption. Unlike some cheaper forms that pass through your system with little impact, glycinate is highly bioavailable. Another favorite of mine is zinc carnosine, which has shown remarkable effects in healing ulcers, supporting gut health, and repairing tissue damage. When you consider how many people struggle with gut inflammation or poor digestion, this becomes an incredibly powerful tool. But here's the crucial part: timing and pairing matter. I used to take zinc at random times, sometimes on an empty stomach, sometimes with food, without really thinking about it. What I've learned is that taking zinc with a meal slightly boosts absorption, though it can still work on an empty stomach if needed. The real key is consistency and balance. Pairing zinc with copper in a 10:1 ratio ensures you don't unintentionally drain your copper stores. Pairing it with magnesium, vitamin B6, folate ensures it actually works inside your body rather than just sitting idle. For most people, 30 to 40 milligrams per day is a solid baseline. Athletes, pregnant women, and those under chronic stress may need more, but always within reason and with the right balance. It's not about chasing higher numbers. It's about hitting the sweet spot where your body thrives. And here's where the lesson of zinc expands into something bigger. Nutrition is never about one nutrient alone. The obsession with superfoods or magic supplements is tempting because it offers a simple solution. But the truth is, health is a symphony of interactions. Every mineral, every vitamin, every macronutrient plays its part. Zinc just happens to be one of the most dramatic examples because the line between deficiency and excess is so thin and the consequences are so real. That realization changed more than just how I take zinc. It changed how I view my entire diet. Now, whenever I look at my plate, I don't just see calories or isolated nutrients. I see balance. I ask myself, does this meal bring harmony to my system, or does it overload one piece while starving another? That shift in perspective has been more transformative than any supplement I've ever bought. The truth is, zinc taught me humility. I had to admit that I didn't know as much as I thought I did. I had to step back and accept that health isn't about domination. It's about cooperation. And in that humility, I found strength. My energy improved. My recovery accelerated. And for the first time, I felt like I was working with my body instead of against it. Now, let me pose this question to you. How are you approaching zinc in your life? Are you relying on supplements without checking your balance? Are you getting enough from your diet? Or maybe too little because of hidden lifestyle factors? Do you know if you're actually deficient? I ask because these aren't abstract questions. They're practical, real, and deeply personal. Your answers could mean the difference between using zinc as a tool for healing or letting it become a silent disruptor in your health. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this, it's this: zinc is not the enemy, nor is it a miracle cure. It is a partner, and like any good partnership, it thrives on balance, respect, and awareness. So as you move forward, take a moment to reflect on how zinc fits into your life. Start with food, supplement wisely, and never forget the importance of company, factors. Above all, listen to your body. It's always sending you signals. The real challenge is learning how to hear them. And now, I'd love to hear from you. Do you think you might be making one of the 4 zinc mistakes? Have you noticed any signs of deficiency in your own life? Share your experience in the comments below. Let's build this conversation together, because your story could help someone else recognize the truth about zinc. Looking back at everything I've learned about zinc, I can honestly say it's one of the most eye-opening lessons in my journey with nutrition. I started out thinking zinc was just another supplement, something you take like a multivitamin and forget about. But what I discovered is that zinc is much more than that. It's a mineral that demands balance, respect, and attention to detail. The 4 mistakes we've explored: taking too much zinc, forgetting the essential company, factors, failing to recognize deficiency, and not getting enough, are not just abstract warnings. They're traps I've personally fallen into, and I've seen others stumble into them too. These mistakes taught me that health is not about extremes. It's not about flooding your body with one nutrient while ignoring the rest. And it's not about assuming your body will simply figure it out. Health is about harmony. For me, the biggest shift came when I stopped thinking of zinc as an isolated fix and started seeing it as part of a larger system. I began focusing on food first: oysters, red meat liver, shellfish, because these foods provide not only zinc but also the supporting nutrients that allow it to work. I learned that supplementation has its place, but only when used wisely, the right form, the right dose, and always balanced with copper, magnesium, vitamin B6, and folate. And I learned to listen to the subtle signs of deficiency my body had been giving me for years, and to the science that warns against reckless excess. The lesson I carry with me now is simple but powerful. Balance is everything. With zinc, as with life, too much or too little can throw you off course. But when you find the right middle ground, the benefits are profound. Stronger immunity, better recovery, sharper mental clarity, and a body that feels supported instead of strained. So, how do we apply this lesson in daily life? Start by paying attention to your diet. Ask yourself if you're eating enough foods rich in zinc, or if your lifestyle habits might be depleting it. If you supplement, be intentional. Choose forms your body can actually absorb. Respect the ratio with copper. Pair zinc with its company, factors. And above all, check in with your body. Don't ignore the small signals. They matter. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever thought about whether you're getting enough zinc, or maybe too much? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experience could help someone else find balance too. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe to the Nutrition Institute. Your support keeps us motivated to keep bringing you insights that can truly make a difference in your health.